Welcome to the weekly market recap with Sampath Securities. Let's take a look at some of the latest developments in the Sri Lankan economy and financial market. Sri Lankan garment manufacturers have secured unprecedented access to the United Kingdom market under newly liberalised trade rules, according to a statement by the British High Commission in Colombo. Under the revised regulations, manufacturers are now permitted to source up to 100% of their input from any country worldwide, while continuing to enjoy tariff-free access to the UK market. As a result, fewer processing requirements now apply. The earlier rule requiring two significant manufacturing processes to take place in Sri Lanka has been removed, allowing greater flexibility for exporters. The reform also introduced the Asia Regional Cumulation Group comprising 18 countries. This arrangement applies to all other exports from Sri Lanka and is expected to further enhance trade competitiveness. British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka said the reforms demonstrate the United Kingdom's commitment to creating shared prosperity through stronger trade partnerships. He noted that the simplifying rules of origin supports Sri Lanka's economic growth by improving market access and encouraging export diversification. The High Commissioner also acknowledged the Sri Lankan government's ambition to expand exports and encourage exporters to make better use of the scheme, highlighting the opportunity to access zero tariffs offered under the Developing Countries Trading Scheme. The new changes remove previous restrictions that required materials to be sourced regionally, and Sri Lankan manufacturers can now compete on an equal footing by accessing global supply chains. Sri Lankan garment sector accounts for over 60% of the country's exports to the UK and supports 1 million livelihoods nationwide. The United Kingdom remains Sri Lanka's second largest garment export market, with exports valued at approximately $675 million. Exports are expected to rise significantly under the new trade arrangements. Sri Lanka has reached another milestone in its external debt restructuring process with the signing of a bilateral agreement with Germany. According to a statement from the Finance Ministry, the agreement covers a restructuring of external debt amounting to 188 million euros. The ministry said the agreement on debt restructuring between Germany and Sri Lanka reflects the island's continued commitment to successfully conclude the external debt restructuring process. It noted that this effort is aimed at restoring debt sustainability and supporting broader economic recovery. Following bilateral discussions held after the conclusion of Memorandum of Understanding with the Official Credit Committee, the Federal Republic of Germany has agreed to provide debt relief by rescheduling Sri Lanka's outstanding obligations. This agreement is expected to strengthen the deep and long-standing bilateral relationships between Sri Lanka and the Federal Republic of Germany, while expressing appreciation to the German government for its continued support and cooperation. Sri Lanka has reached a historic milestone in export performance, with coconut and coconut-based products generating more than $1 billion in revenue for the first time. According to data released by the Export Development Board, export earnings from coconut-related products reached $1.03 billion between January and October 2025. This represents a 43.83% compared to the same period in 2024. A key driver behind this achievement has been a strategic shift away from exporting raw coconuts towards a value-added coconut-based products. Demand has grown steadily for specialized Sri Lankan exports such as liquid coconut milk, virgin coconut oil, coconut cream, desiccated coconut, activated carbon, and cocoa peat. These coconut-based industries now account for 7.2% of Sri Lanka's total export portfolio. Meanwhile, the government has set an ambitious target of increasing coconut exports revenue to $2.5 billion by the year 2030. To support this sustainable growth, several initiatives have been launched, including expanding cultivation, improving domestic efficiency, and introducing targeted policy interventions. As part of the cultivation expansion drive, work is underway to establish the Northern Coconut Triangle under a broader plan to bring 36,000 new acres of coconut land under cultivation. Sri Lanka has recorded its highest ever workers' remittances, with inflows reaching an estimated $7.8 billion in 2025. According to official statements, this marks the largest annual remittances inflow in the country's history and highlights a strong recovery in external foreign exchange earnings following the economic crisis. Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism Minister announced that the 2025 figure exceeds the previous decade high of $7.24 billion recorded in 2016. He noted that the latest performance reflects an 8% increase over that earlier record and a 19% year-on-year growth, even as December inflows were yet to be formally confirmed by the central bank. December remittances were estimated between $650 million and $700 million, bringing total inflows for the year close to $7.8 billion. Remittance inflow had declined sharply during the economic crisis, falling a 12-year low of $3.78 billion in 2022. However, a strong rebound followed. In 2023, remittances increased by 57% to $5.96 billion, and this momentum continued in 2024 with a 10.1% rise to $6.57 billion. The recovery was supported by increased outbound labor migration as many Sri Lankans sought employment overseas following the economic downturn. The majority of remittances in 2025 originated from Middle Eastern destinations including Kuwait, the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Israel. Additional inflows were also recorded from Romania, Japan, the Maldives, Oman, South Korea, Australia and the United States. More than 310,000 skilled and semi-skilled workers left Sri Lanka for foreign employment in 2025. The total departures declined slightly on a year-on-year basis, indicating that remittances inflows increased despite fewer workers going abroad as migrants sent higher amounts back home. Let's take a look at this week's Treasury Bill auction results. With the recent Treasury Bill auction, the 91-day T-bill rate stands at 7.88%, up by 14 basis points. The 182-day T-bill rate stands at 8.44%, up by 17 basis points, and the 1-year T-bill rate stands at 8.47%, up by 2 basis points compared to the previous week. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week.